particularly use in their lifetimes. Unfortunately, whilst finding all this, you entered the vault, which was crammed with bodies, and one of you fell foul to the exact same thing that had presumably killed all of the other people in that room. Some unknown chemical agent which has begun to affect the eyes and hands of the Commodore. The doctor, Dr. Rostogram, has intervened and slowed the spread of these symptoms, but it is nonetheless advancing. And without a more permanent cure, the result will likely be fatal. As a result of which, we now turn to the courtyard of this facility, where you are all clustered around the back of the M113, plotting your next move. Oh, what do you plan to do next about this?
I do remember that I was going to try to actually get the protective gear and actually utilizing my NBC training. I could try to actually brave it with the necessary protection if there is any intact gear that could protect me from the chemical agent.
Okay. Do you plan on?
And I need a list. And has anyone even made the list?
What of items that you need to go down there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, all you really need to go down there is ideally a fully intact NBC suit. Failing that, stuff that covers your body as much as is possible, and a gas mask or respirator. Gas mask or respirator would be the bare minimum to go down there without a high chance of stuff going horribly wrong for you. A full NBC suit would actually make it somewhat safe.
Okay,
Carry on.
maybe in the upper floors there might be some gear.
That's entirely possible. And Dr. Rostogram, give me a medical aid roll, unmodified.
Okay. Except I do have a +1 modifier if it's involving treating disease, poison, or NBC. Does that come?
Give me that +1. Yep.
All right.
Yep. So one of your dice one step better for this roll. Oh, that's many successes. You are not only do you slow progress of things a little bit more by applying what salves and ad hoc treatments you can to the affected areas, but you're aware that you're only treating the symptoms, not the cause. Mm-hmm. More importantly, you are able to successfully identify the cocktail of agents that are involved in this. You're able to identify a relatively common blistering agent, which on its own isn't going to kill anyone, but makes your life incredibly uncomfortable. However, the main point of blistering agents is to get you to sort of remove or open up a hole in your protective gear so something else can kill you. And you're also able to identify the agent being used. It's not as brutal as VX gas. It looks like a slightly more moderate form of VX gas, because of course the Russians don't have proper VX gas, only the NATO powers have that. Courtesy of the British. However, you are aware that this particular agent is always lethal, if not treated in time. Do, however, know the exact treatment necessary, and you are able to write down the name of the drugs that would be required to deal with this.
I see.
So you got that, and you can hand that off to whoever's going to go looking for medical supply. Without roll. Yep. As for the NBC suit, do you plan on just like running through the building as quickly as you can, just opening up cupboards, etc., looking for NBC equipment?
Personally, knowing that there's definitely a chemical agent, I think I'd be a lot more cautious about the whole situation. Because running in like crazy might cause potential lacerations, which could get chemical agents and potential other agents that we don't know yet to get in, and that's not going to be pretty. So I'd be a lot more cautious about the whole situation, even if the agent is probably most likely just in the basement.
Okay. I'm gonna explain. I mean, what you've just said is absolutely sensible. I'm gonna give you choice, just sort of like based on how hurried you're being, because you are on a ticking clock. If
Yeah.
you're acting cautiously and searching through things, I'll have you make a survival roll, not a survival, a scavenging roll, and that'll affect what you find. And for every I'll look into that in a moment. But for every time you make that roll, the Commodore's going to have to make a stamina roll to fight off symptoms. If you hurry, then you'll get to make 2 rolls to look for equipment for every 1 roll the Commodore has to make. May suffer an injury.
You know what? Run out of clock. I'm in a ticking time clock. I might as well have to take the risk.
Okay, all right. In that case, and I'm just going to look at the sheet from Gabrielle's. Okay. You can give me 2 flat and unmodified, either recon or survival rolls, your choice. Okay, 1. Okay, all right, that's 1 success. As you're going, you're searching for all sorts of things. You manage to find, not in a cupboard, but actually on the body of a deceased Russian, body that looks severely decayed and gnawed away at. In one of his pouches, you find a gas mask with a single filter. It's not a full suit, but you've got a gas mask. And
Alright, that's good.
how to wear it is relatively obvious. In the
Yeah, I
meantime,
mean, I was trained how to wear one.
yep. In the meantime, Commodore, please make me a stamina roll at -2. Oh, yeah, you've already rolled. One of your 1d6s was a success, and a 1d6 is the lowest thing that you can possibly roll, so that's fine. You don't suffer the consequences of a critical injury, but please give yourself 1 extra point of damage and 1 extra point of stress, as the effect of blistering starts painfully crawling further up your arms, and the sensation of panic starts to set in as you're aware that your vision is starting to blur and degrade and go, as something is very wrong with your eyes, and you're aware of a painful burning sensation in your throat, and you're starting to cough alarmingly.
He knows that something's wrong.
Yep. How is he reacting to this? Is he remaining calm? Is he starting to panic? Is he doing anything in particular? Is he just focusing?
He goes, Doctor, we need to hurry.
Like that's all coming
I'm
out in
starting-
between coughs, presumably.
Yeah.
She doesn't really think there's much more that she can do at the moment without the right medicine.
All right.
So she'll just,
That D100.
she's just muttering prayers in the background, like, hurry, hurry.
Okay. That D100 roll in the background was for the random injury, which you do not receive. So, Lieutenant, or Lieutenant, since you're British, Sobislaw, you have a gas mask with a single filter. What do you do next?
You know what? Did I get the list of medications to quickly get in and try to search for?
You did.
Yep. You got the list.
Because I think I'm about to do what one of the liquidators in Chernobyl pulled. Repeatedly go in there, but just for the first run, go straight for the meds and try to settle this ASAP.
Excellent. You belt it down
Yeah,
there.
I'm just gonna quickly try to cover up as much as I can, get the gas mask on, and then pull a Chernobyl liquidator mode.
All right, you belt in there. Belt down there. Your heart's pounding. You're breathing hard. You're aware that your friend is suffering dramatically in the background. This could be it. You're under the gun. You're under high pressure. You force your way through the sort of gap in the heavy vault door where it's been left a crick open, striding over the bodies of huge numbers of deceased people that are starting to rot all around you. Give me a stamina roll at +1. Okay, all right. Nothing immediately seems to happen. This is where you reveal. So you'll give me a recon or survival roll, your choice. Okay, you pass that. Also, I am going to say, would you like to push that stamina roll that you just rolled?
Yes.
Okay, you can re-roll a single.
I rolled a single one.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it's the D8 that was the one that was re-rolled because the D10 was already locked in because it was an explosion. Please take.
Oh my! I honestly, I'm sorry. I think I kind of my brain fucked up. I just thought I assumed like because I was so used to D&D, like if I was given a Morrigan, I was just able to re-roll the crit fails, and I just completely forgot. So
that's fine. If you want to take that back, you can.
Yeah. Take it back. Take it back, please.
Okay, absolutely fine. So you're striding through everything. You're breathing hard. You're searching through all of the various boxes. Every now and again, you stumble over the bodies, but you're very quickly able to identify a number of boxes and bags that have got obvious medical and Red Cross symbols on them. Do you open them up and look for the drug, or do you just take the whole box out of the vault, which might take a bit longer?
I'm gonna open that shit up and get the specifics.
Okay. This is where you realize an immediate flaw in your plan, which is that as you're looking at some things that, obviously bandages and gauzes and so forth, you don't want that, but you're looking at various vials of drugs and various needles full of things that are pre-filled with various liquids and solutions. Your list is written in English. The labels are in Russian.
Kurwa! Oh, kurwa.
And you don't speak Russian.
Accidentally curse in pure Polish and just internally just say, fuck it, take the box!
All right. You take the box. So you you pelt back up to the M113, I'm assuming.
Yes.
And you run to the doctor as fast as you can and boom, slam.
Labels.
Yeah, what next?
Powerful Russian.
Oh no.
I'm just going to go back in there, get as many medicine as possible.
Okay, do it. Do it.
And I just fucking bolt right back in. Chernobyl styled.
Fantastic. Whilst you're doing that, Doctor, you've been given a bunch of drugs in Russian. What do you do, if anything?
So these are like capsule type drugs, or are they liquid drugs, or like is it something that she could look at and go, well, maybe I can figure out what this is just by looking at it?
Some are syringes that has liquids filled. Some, well.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all forms of drugs. So some of it is syringes, some of it is just the liquid that you put the syringe into, some of it is pills.
Okay.
Use your medical powers and figure out even.
I'm gonna cover my hands first before I touch any of this. Potentially, these containers that might still be hot or whatever. So I'm doing that first. But yeah, that's the best that she's gonna be able to do is just have to look at it and go, well, this is or isn't the chemical I think it is.
You can give me a medical aid roll at -4.
That basically is a medical aid with nothing. And okay.
Okay. That is pushable if you want to.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to push that one.
Yep.
Okay, still nothing.
Okay. Still nothing. So you rummage through things, you're looking at things, you're trying to work out, does that Cyrillic word look roughly like a word I know? And then you're going through your memory, remembering that often the colours and shapes of pills in particular are sort of standardised. And you go, yeah, no, that's not the one I want. That's not the one I want. That's not the one I want. Maybe this is it, but do the Soviets have the same standardized pills? And you're unable to come to a firm conclusion about which drug would work, at least with what you currently have. Commodore, you're starting to feel worse. Make me a stamina roll at -2.
Hmm. Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
So you are lying there, and the burning sensation in your throat is starting to get worse and worse and worse. And as you're coughing and biting back some of the vomit, it overwhelms you, and you just retch. You vomit badly all over the concrete floor, and your incredibly blurred and degrading vision, you can make out in your vomit lots of black flecks and froth and bits of blood that suggests that your lungs are starting to go.
Oh.
He starts hitting the doctor, going,
Well, she's probably helping you like lie down or something. She's like, you are not standing anymore.
Yeah.
Not after that.
Okay. In the meantime,
Speed
go
running,
to Lieutenant
grabbing all
Soboslav.
of anything that looks.
Yep.
That look,
Oh, I
has
should point
anything
out,
that could
Commodore,
potentially be. Yes.
take an extra point of damage and stress. So, yeah, okay, yeah,
yep,
so
I did.
fantastic. You're running down there. Dum, 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 dum. Your heart's beating hard. You're aware. You can hear somewhere behind you the slightly panicked noises of medical situation getting worse. You barrel back down into the room. Please make me either a recon or survival roll, your choice, as you keep looking for things. All right. You are searching, but you don't find more Red Cross bags, but you're aware that there's a lot more room to go. So do you want to stay down there and keep searching?
How long until the filter is done?
Oh, the filter will last like more than half an hour. That's
Okay.
not a problem.
All right, good. Then I'll stay down.
Okay, make me another roll.
Got it.
Fantastic. You find another bag and
I'm
roll me
taking
a
the damn
D100.
thing.
Oh yeah, roll me a D100. High is good.
All right, let me just.
That's exactly the number that you needed. So you pick up this whole bag, and presumably you run. Do you run back up with the whole bag, or do you search through it?
I'm gonna briefly search through it and then just fucking bolt. Just a nanosecond of a search.
Okay, so you do the nanosecond of the search, and it's the same as before. Lots of things that you're not quite able to work out what's what. But there's a manual in there. It is, however, written in Russian, but it does have diagrams.
Shame it isn't written in Polish, but hey, at least it's not. Shame it's written in Cyrillic because I bet I can read in whatever Polish is written in. But
I'm actually going to
I'm
check
Bolton.
that.
I'm a Bolton.
Because unfortunately, Cyrillic is nowhere near as standardized as Latin alphabet. It's like hugely different.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Polish Cyrillic looks nothing like Russian Cyrillic.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah. But yeah, okay. Dum, 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 dum. You run back up, boom, you put the bag on the ground.
There's a manual,
and
there's diagrams.
And
diagrams and
checking
pictures.
through.
Yep.
Searching
Ostragon,
to see
give
if
me
she's got the right one.
a flat medical aid roll. Okay, all right. Single success. You are able to find a picture of symptoms that looks a lot like the symptoms that your patient is currently going through.
Mhm.
And there is a prescribed treatment next to it. It's all in Russian. What do you do with that information?
Hope that I happen to have a box of medicine that just happens to be Cyrillic enough that it looks similar enough, even though you just said it wasn't standard. That's what she's hoping for.
Oh, Russian Cyrillic is the same as Russian Cyrillic.
All of it's in Russian.
Yeah, Russian Cyrillic is the same everywhere, but in French and German and English have similar Latin characters, but Czech, Russian, Bulgarian, their Cyrillics look nothing alike.
Mm-hmm.
Polish is
Okay.
more, Latin to some
Yeah, it's very Latin. It's incredibly Latin.
It's in the Latin script.
Yeah. Okay. Give me a medical aid roll or a recon roll, your choice, at -1.
That one's an easy pick.
Okay, alright. That's one success. I'm gonna do... I'm gonna do... Roll me... 1d4. Okay,
Thanks,
3.
Appreciate it.
Okay, 3. And I'm gonna look at some sheets for a moment to make sure that everything is fine. Work. Okay. You are searching through vials, Doctor. Searching. Memorized the appropriate Cyrillic shapes necessary for the drug that you want. But it takes a lot longer because you're not doing it in a language that you know. You're effectively looking for a picture rather than a word. It's not great. You're searching through it. You can't find it quickly.
I mean, I suppose because on one hand she's already eliminated one set, like these can't be the right thing. But still, there's still a lot to go through.
And there's a lot to go through. You're going back through some of the earlier stuff. Like all the pills, you can immediately get rid of all the pills. You know this is an injection. But other than that, there's not a huge amount you can immediately write out other than checking the words written on the sides of the vials, which will take time. Whilst that is happening, Soboslaw, is there anything further you're going to do?
One more track, because how long until, as I said, the filter is done and I have to find another form of filter?
Each of these raids is taking less than 2 minutes.
Okay, good. Then I can keep going. You can keep going.
So you can make me another recon or survival roll, your choice. Okay, that's a double success. You find a pretty good batch of what looks to be just lots of vials. You're not entirely sure if it's the right vials, but you know that there's no pills in there, there's no bandages in there. This isn't a standard field kit or medical aid kit give to someone in the field. This is a box of stuff that you use to resupply those kits. So it's presumably a lot more targeted, and you're able to run out with that. However,
I'm taking that.
Yeah, you take that, you run out. However, as you're running out, your vision starts going a bit weird, and you itch. You itch bad. So you failed your original stamina roll. You are aware that you are starting to suffer from the symptoms as well.
Shit.
Okay. What do you do as you head back up to the doctor?
I think my protection failed. Fuck, you better hurry.
Right. Commodore, please make me 2 stamina rolls at -2. Okay, a fail and a success. Take 2 points of stress damage and 2 points of physical damage. You start. It's you're slightly fending off first of it. Most people would be dead already, particularly without the treatment of the symptoms that Rostogram's already given you. Without that, you'd be dead. But you are in a bad shape. You can kind of like feel something is deeply wrong under your chest. Your entire skin burns. Your vision is almost completely gone. You can only taste iron. You are aware that something, like you're still hucking and coughing and splattering, but like it's dry heaving now because everything that could come up has already come up, and you're aware that something is starting to run out of your nose and out of your eyes, and instinctively know that that's not tears. Rostogram will be able to see that the Commodore is starting to bleed out of a lot of orifices on their face. Not the ears, but pretty much everything else. And there is froth coming from her mouth, or his mouth.
Yeah.
I think after returning back and knowing full well that he's now practically affected, he might as well try and help quickly. Because if they can save the Commodore first, they can handle him next. Because it seems
give me a medical or a recon roll, your choice. Flat.
All right.
Being guided by the doctor. Okay, single success. That is actually kind of useful. So you're going through with a single success. And you don't find it, but you're able to rule out a lot of the things that the doctor would otherwise search. And with 2 people working on this problem, looking for something, Doctor, you find a save earlier than normal, because that D4 was the various rounds of things that were going to happen. You find a vial with what appears to be the Cyrillic word that you're looking for written on it. You don't understand it, but you check manual, check word on the injector. It seems to be the same word.
Oh, thank God. I think this is it.
Okay.
It better be it.
All right.
Help me hold him down.
How do you do it? Do you... All right. Yep. The Commodore is starting to convulse, so holding down would be useful.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and help.
Yeah. Someone has to hold him down.
Yeah, I'm a hold him down.
Okay.
While the doctor injects.
Even if I'm getting gradually affected by the same chemical agent, I'm gonna hold him down as much as I can because NPCs
Absolutely.
are built different.
NPCs are built different. They really are. So you hold the Commodore down. The diagram shows that in order to deal with this properly, this isn't an arm injection. This is an injection close to the heart for just boom, immediate massive effect across most of the body. Give me a flat medical aid roll. Good enough. So you pull open the Commodore's uniform, exposing the relevant section of his chest, and thump, sink in the needle, deploy it. The needle almost snaps off as the Commodore is starting to writhe, but you just about keep it there. You pull it out, and Commodore doesn't appear to immediately get better, but the Commodore stops getting worse. Commodore, please roll me 2d6.
6?
Yep, 2d6. Okay. Commodore, you feel your breathing start to regulate a little bit. It's definitely not good. It's definitely not what it used to be, but it's stabilizing. It's a struggle to breathe, but you can now at least breathe regularly. Similarly, your vision remains bad, but it's stopped getting worse. What's your reaction?
I seems like my vision hasn't fully came back yet.
Oh, thank.
Okay.
Right. Do it on me
Aye.
before anything gets worse, alright?
Presuming there's enough left in that vial for another injection.
Nope, that was whole vial, one person. You gotta find another one.
Alright,
So
then let's quickly look for the other vial then.
yep. You
Yeah.
can both make me. The Commodore can't. The Commodore's out of it. But the Dr. Rostogram and Lieutenant Sobislau can both make me either medical aid or recon rolls at -1.
Okay. For my case, if it's medical aid, does the NBC modifier I have come into effect?
It does, which makes it flat. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I got NBC too.
Fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Dr. Rostogram, please roll me 1d4.
I'll do it.
Thanks.
4. All right. So you're rummaging, you're both rummaging, you're both frantically looking for another one of these vials. Unfortunately, when you found it, it wasn't in the big stash of loads of vials, which are the same ones right next to one another. It was in one of the little field kits. So that one doesn't have another one in it. You're going through, searching, you're searching. Lieutenant Sobislau, please make me 4 stamina saves at -2.
You mean -1 because, well...
Oh, because of NBC.
I have
Yes,
a +1
-1.
modifier to stamina for all infection rolls.
Yeah.
Excellent. So yeah, -1. Okay, that's 1. 3, 4.
He just won't
Excellent.
die.
You pass all of. Yeah, I mean, you
NBC's
still
built different.
NBC's built different. You still take 4 points of physical damage and stress, but it means that you don't suffer the critical injury
It's
effects.
that British Constitution coming in again.
Oh, wait, for damage?
4 damage, 4 stress.
Yes.
Got it.
But you do not suffer the critical injury effects, which is very good for you. So
Do it!
yeah. So you have very blurry vision. Your skin is on fire. You're starting to hack and cough, but you're not as bad as the Commodore. You're getting worried,
Do it, doctor!
and that's when the doctor finds the vial.
Okay.
He literally
Medical aid
fucking
roll.
yanks out his own uniform, but like the British madman he is, and just does it.
Fantastic! Boom! The needle goes in at just the right place again.
I could do this all day.
You can do it all day. The lieutenant isn't convulsing, so he doesn't need to be held down or anything along those lines.
He's holding himself down.
And are aware, Lieutenant Sobislau, that your symptoms start to not get worse, and indeed you can actually your skin appear to recover more quickly. Your skin, within a couple of minutes, stops feeling like it's on fire. Your vision slowly starts to return.
Roll.
No, you don't need a roll.
Because
The
practically
rolling,
we killed it before it even got bad.
and crucially, you didn't fail the stamina rolls for symptoms, which means you never got the critical injury. The 2d6s for the critical injury. It will take the Commodore 6 days before he starts getting better.
Yeah. So he goes, we might as well start heading back. I can't drive. I'm out of it.
Give me a few minutes.
Yeah. Roster Game would offer to just jog out and let Dalton know that situation's okay. Whatever noises you were hearing inside, it's under control.
Yep.
Unlikely here.
They're entering.
But
Yep. I'm just going to make a note in Wolf's sheet in the critical injuries table. So 6. Okay, sorry, 6 days. Just as a mechanical point, Commodore, if you look under the combat tab, you'll see I've put something in there that's gas attack, 6 days to go. Every in-character day, just tick that down by 1
Yep.
until that reaches 0, until it's cured. You cannot recover physical damage, and you are also going to have minuses to quite a few rolls. I will also remind you that in terms of physical damage, you are 1 point away from potential death.
Oh god.
Yeah. Yeah, he is.
Yep. So you are in a bad shape.
Yeah, that's why I said I can't drive.
Yeah.
He's literally
So-
laying on the floor right now, just not even getting up.
So, here you are. The sun is going down. You're in a concrete courtyard of a big old Russian building, sitting on top of a huge amount of supplies. Who knows what other supplies are elsewhere in the building. Got a lot of fuel. Your vehicle is entirely fueled up. You've got a articulated lorry fuel truck ready to go. You've got a critical casualty. What do you do?
The comma. Let's just say things might get a little.
Yeah. He goes.
Just get the Commodore and the MBT. Make sure you're gonna protect it ASAP.
He goes. We might as well bring some. He goes. We might as well go back and get get one of the colonel's people to come over to get the vehicle themselves. Because I'm not gonna split our party.
So do you want to stay here for the night? Do you want to set out immediately towards your allies, or do you want to take some third course of action?
Yeah.
Because it's now everything has been technically in the clear for now. I suppose there's actually a chance to actually look a little more in detail and actually get an actual NBT suit because gas, even if the gas mask is effective, there's still always that chance.
Yeah.
Okay. So you want to stay here for a while and scavenge supplies that aren't in the vault?
I think it'd be better to try and scavenge some additional supplies, just in case.
And I want to be in the NPC for the
You're in the NPC. That's not even a question. That's like the safest place for you to be right now.
Yeah, because technically, since you're technically the casualty, I guess. Dude from the chain of command, I guess now I'm in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You are the next most senior officer. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
You were trained
chain
for
of
this.
Command.
Mm-hmm.
You spent long hours at Sandhurst preparing for this. You spent a year at Sandhurst preparing for this.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Do you want to bring the doctor with you scavenging?
Oh, what the doctor would like. Would the doctor be alright with it while the Commodore is being safely protected by a Sorrel?
Yeah, I mean, presumably there's nothing else she can do for him. So.
Right.
No, you'll get to every day. You'll get to do a medical aid roll to see how well you help treat symptoms, which might reduce the amount of time. But other than the once a day medical roll, there's nothing much more.
Yeah. So I mean, even she would know. Like, he just needs. There's nothing else I can do for him now. So, what else should I be doing at the moment? Might as well help the lieutenant. Maybe find a Russian-English dictionary while she's at it.
Oh yeah, we could definitely do that. So someone could finally understand.
We could
Russian.
hope. Anyway,
Yeah.
We could hope.
I don't know. I don't know if she's thinking of that kind of humor. I am as a player. Like, oh, that'd be so funny. But anyway.
I mean,
Do you-
there's always that dark humor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, in that case, you can both make me a recon or survival roll, flat, your choice. Okay. All right. Roll me a D100, Dr. Rostogram. $47. Okay, so you're going through the upper levels of this building, and at one point you go up to a window and you sort of look out the back, and you can see two things. The first is that the buildings, at least, there appears to be sort of like a chain of interconnected buildings. They go for quite some way. You're only in what would effectively be the front end of an entire complex. There's a lot here. Second thing that you see is shadows moving in a way that I not explain. Something is moving. It's not just the passage of, well, the sun setting, and now the moon is your principal form of illumination. Something's out there. Also, in your scavenging, manage to find what might be some very useful electronic components. And you pass, a few weapons and so forth. Those aren't of a huge amount of interest to you because you're sitting upon a massive stockpile of those. If you want, you can just take an AK. That's fine. But in terms of non-weapon salvage, you find a single set of electronic that you sheet. It has a weight unit of 1.
Well, she can't really carry anything else. Unless she's... Oh, never mind. She's got room in her pack. So she'll probably at least put the electronics in there. And in character, she doesn't know. Well, maybe Gavriel will find this useful.
So sad. Okay. You're aware that if you keep searching, it is now properly night. You're aware that if you keep searching, you're not going to get proper sleep. You'll be dog-tired in the morning, etc. You can keep doing it, but it'll have an impact.
Right. Is it? Have you noticed Have you noticed anything, Rostogam?
There's... I thought I saw something moving outside. It might be the dogs, it might be something else, or it might even just be my eyes, because I'm sorry, I am starting to get tired, Lieutenant.
I understand. I mean, after all of this, I think it would have taken a lot of energy for all of us. Let's just get back to the MBT and rest.
Understood.
We'll figure out a plan of action now in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, right. I'm just going to do some amusing little things in the background. Don't mind me. Just doing some GM rolls. Okay. Sure. So, how do you sleep? Are you sleeping inside the vehicle? Are you sleeping
Inside.
in? Yeah, okay.
And let's not forget
and
Lieutenant
Vehicle.
Sobisla already has a bite wound, too, from the earlier
Yep.
scuffle.
Yep, that is true. Dr. Rostogram, please give me a medical aid roll for treating that.
Again.
Yeah, please.
Okay. Let me get back to that. Side note, is Dalton going to need relieved at any point from his post?
Oh yeah, he needs to sleep. So
Okay.
somebody needs to go on various shifts. Get to that in a moment.
Medical aid, first off. There
That's
we
a
go.
success. That's fantastic. Lieutenant Sobislau, please make me a stamina roll at +2. Successful medical aid roll. Fantastic. As the night passes, you are able to heal 1 point of damage, and you don't get an infection or anything like that. All right.
One thing during the night, at some point,
Hmm?
Rostergam would also just ask Dalton if if he sees anything, like if he's had any better luck at kind of seeing further beyond where they are parked, like. Because I don't know. I know, like, he's not here to speak for himself, but I know he's got that sniper scope, so he probably could see something better than she would.
That's true. He has. I mean, he's been sitting in the turret of the vehicle, so he hasn't been getting out and doing scouting. Every now and again, he sort of looks down with his telescopic sight and sees what might be animals, like a long way away. Obviously his vision is somewhat obscured by the fact that he's in an urban area, but he's looking down quite a long street, and every now and again he sees what is an animal at the far end of the street, but it doesn't seem to come closer. You've got 3 people who can be on watch throughout the night: Rostogram, Sobislaw, and Dalton. What order do you want to take watch?
I think I'll take up watch first, then
Okay.
Rostergram, then Dalton.
Yeah, that sounds fine.
Dalton definitely needs some rest.
Mm-hmm.
All right. As you're lying in the back of the M113, you are aware after a while of some noises, like scraping against the side of the vehicle. You talk up to Dalton, who's on watch. Like, it wakes you up, and Dalton's on watch, and he says that he reveals to you that some dogs have come sniffing. They appear to largely be interested in the pool of vomit and blood, which is a massive scent flare.
Oh.
But he's thinking, hey, as long as we stay inside the vehicle, they can't hurt us. So he hasn't opened fire or anything along those lines. If, however, you want him to, he can do that.
Let them be.
Okay. So the night passes uneventfully, other than the scraping on the side of the vehicle. So you're slightly on edge as you can hear the sniffing. But you wake up without any further difficulties or problems. And it is now the morning. Everyone needs to remove 1 unit of water and 1 unit of food from their sheets as you eat your day's worth of rations. If you don't have that, let me know. Commodore, for you, eating is painful. Swallowing, drinking, like, your throat isn't properly healed. It really hurts. You need to force yourself to do this.
Yeah, the doctor obviously would see that.
I'm sorry, Commodore. I'll see if I can. Maybe I'll find a painkiller today. Maybe there's some morphine in that stash that we pulled.
So, it was fortunate we actually managed to get medical supplies in and such.
You guys,
Okay.
make sure you grab the medical. Is the medical supplies in the vehicle?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that all that's in the vehicle.
Absolutely.
Yeah. He goes, we might as well head back, just so. Yeah. While
What
we
do the
got
rest of you
the
think it is?
daylight.
I'm more of a person of giving everyone else's opinions before we actually set up a perfect course of action. But there are definitely a lot of things that are in that vault, but the casualty we have racked up as of the moment, it seems too much of a risk.
It's going to take the Commodore
Yeah.
several days, I imagine, to recover from his exposure.
I have a feeling he might end up taking a week.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, at the very least, I mean, you found, thank God that we found what we found for you to be able to go in and search, but for the Major, at the very least we would need to let her know that we would need better protective gear. Well, I mean, if we're going to tell her about this find.
Yep.
She looks uncertain all of a sudden.
What is it, Doctor?
Oh, I'm sorry. I've just been thinking back to the conversations that we were having with the Polish members of the camp. I don't know. Maybe it's nothing, but I know that. I mean, are we still wanting to? Never mind. It's nothing.
No. It'd be for the best to actually let things out before things are bottled up, because if we bottle everything up, well, look what happened to those who just abandon their uniform and just run off do dally, you know?
Mm-hmm. Okay. I understand that I am not really a ranking officer, so I am just going to be following your lead when it comes to dealing with the Major. However we choose to do that.
And hopefully we'll find a way to actually help the Commodore recover as well, because...
Yes.
Do you deliberate further on your course of action, or do you start heading back to Praska?
By any means, I believe we could continue with our own personal search of Major's actions. Maybe hear back from that sergeant, if covered.
Yeah, we'll see if he's up and walking. His leg wound wasn't that bad, actually, but...
No, it seems...
But yes, I don't think it's why... I would feel better if we had the Commodore closer to a better stocked medical facility, rather than just out here. I don't think we need to stay here any longer, and presume, as long as we don't, I think the longer we stay out here, the more searching we do, the greater the risk that we might accidentally contaminate something again.
Yeah.
God damn it. Hold on, give me...
If it has been decided that you're going to go back to Praska, what route do you intend on taking?
I'm back.
Okay. What way are we going back to Praska? Are we going to just take the main route, probably? I don't know how to drive this vehicle, either.
I'll be upfront. I can drive.
Okay.
I'm not as good as the Commodores, but I definitely know some common sense about it.
Yeah. Because he at least tells you the basics of the vehicle. You got a rough idea.
I have a quick out of character question, Edgeford. How do I recover stress?
Stress is similar to physical damage. You go down a point a day unless anything horrendous happens to you, which hasn't. So yeah, you would go down 1 point.
All right.
You can also have like counseling sessions and that kind of thing that gets it to go down a bit quicker.
All right.
So if you talk, this is to incentivize roleplay as well. So if you talk to fellow characters about what has been stressing you out, and what's caused you to have all sorts of moral issues, I will reward that in roleplay by letting it come down faster.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we're gonna be driving there, but I think I would like to actually communicate while we're driving there.
Excellent.
No,
And
I would be upfront about this whole thing. Feeling your entire skin just burn like it. Having it felt like there was napalm just all over the place. It does that to you, does it? I've learned about it, but never really experienced it.
I felt like it was iron coming out of my mouth and
Doctor, you would immediately recognize that tasting iron is just
Blood.
tasting the blood. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Rostergam is looking between the two of you as you're both sharing symptoms, and she's just kind of like nodding and yeah.
I think we're all lucky that we actually managed to get the cure to actually take it out before it all got even worse than it was now. Thank you. I
Yep.
mean it.
yeah, I agree. You got it just in time.
Indeed, the Commodore, you were one dice roll away from death.
Yes.
And from the looks of the Commodore, well, had this gone even a minute longer, I don't think we would have him around.
I know.
Kind of interest. In terms of the route, are you taking the Crespice route back to Praska, or are you big skirt around?
I'm looking where are we? I can't see.
So you should be on the world map, as it were.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going through.
And are you going to go through the village, or are you going to try and go cross country and circle around it?
Because they had requested that we not go through.
Yeah.
Like, there was
And we do have the fuel and plus we got the fuel to go around as well, so
Oh yeah, you got plenty of that now.
Cross country.
Okay. In that case, Dalton's actually the best person to do this, so I'll roll it off Dalton's sheet.
Yep.
Yeah, one thing that Rostergam has not said, but she's kind of thinking it's just very different hearing someone describe the pain compared to like reading it in a textbook. That's kind of what she's thinking. She's not courageous enough to say anything. She's like, that's not going to do anything for these people, but
Tell me how it
And
hurts.
especially how I literally talked about it felt like napalm on my skin.
yeah.
basically he says the feeling of like itchiness on the back of my throat and he goes, it's the itchiness on the back of my throat and the losing of your vision is, yeah. It starts off, blurring.
Really terrifying. I'll be upfront. It's nothing like reading off a manual of how certain agents work, but actually doing it.
Yeah.
Nerving.
Between the textbooks and the real life, it's way different.
Yeah. Well, one thing that I do know from real life experience is that our bodies are capable of healing and capable of recovering as long as we stop the progression in time, and we did. So you're going to be okay, even if you don't quite feel that right now. And internally, she's like, I really hope to God that I'm not wrong about this. But she doesn't say that part, but she's just like, there's a part about being encouraging and hoping, like there's that, I don't know, out of character, like if you feel like you're going to get better, then your body tends to respond to that and actually go, okay, we're going to get better. Anyway, back in the game though.
Honestly, I think I'm going to, personally, I might as well stubbornly assume that I'm going to get better no matter the cost.
So, what did Dalton say?
Well, I'll come to that in a moment, but on that theme, Lieutenant Soboslav, please give me a driving roll at -1.
Rolled.
Oh, okay, there's a success. Excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're driving along, and you get to. I have to consult my secret GM map. Oh, but you scary secret GM map.
Spooky GM map.
Yeah, so you get into this hex, which is when you are about to go off road to go around Crispies. And there aren't major hills in here, but there are little undulations, etc. And you're about to crest an undulation when Dalton calls out to you, Soboslav, as the driver, that I see steam or smoke or a cloud on the horizon. It's white.
What?
Well, same.
What the heck? Do we all hear this?
Yeah, he's loud enough as he calls out into the field that he sees this possible white smoke, possible white steam, like there's a white cloud.
How close is it?
It's a little distance away, but you get the feeling that if you were to go over the hill, like get to the top of the hill, you'd be able to see it. The thing that's stopping you from seeing whatever's causing it is the hill.
All
Go
right,
and check it out.
Let's get to the high ground, quote unquote.
Okay, so do you drive up to the top?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so you do that, and Dalton is the first to see it, but you can all see it pretty quickly as you get to the top of this little hill. I say you could all see it. The driver and Dalton. The rest of you don't have windows. So Soboslav and Dalton can see this. You crest the top of the hill slowly, wondering what might be causing this. And then you are shocked to see something you thought was a part of the past world, which is it's about this point that the road goes over disused, seemingly, train tracks. Except there's a steam train sitting there at the road crossing with steam, smoke coming out. Because it's not steam that comes out, but smoke coming out the chimney. And there are people all over it, and it's got several trailers, like passenger compartments and cargo pallets, and there are cranes on the top of it, and you can see one of the cranes is picking up a truck from one of the cargo pallets and is putting it down on the road.
John, you're seeing this, are you?
Seeing what? And she like try and
what?
maneuver to see if she
bloody steam engine.
A steam engine.
Get over
a
here.
steam engine.
If you take turns to go up into the turret or look out through the driver's window, you will be able to see it.
My character would be looking through the driver's window. You're like, what is a steam engine doing out here?
I bloody know.
You can see a lot of people are walking around it. They're clearly busy doing work, but they're like black specks. You can't make out much more than just these are people.
let's just go around. We don't want to disturb the locals.
Who knows if it's the locals or if it's someone else?
Maybe they too.
Let's just play it safe.
I would like to play it safe, though. I feel like we need to actually know more about what is going on with this. Because they're friendly.
Okay.
They've actually managed to re-establish some kind of rail system.
If we can... We aren't... you guys... You can't go into the city, the town, without, There's only 2 people allowed to go into the town at a time. But you guys put the white flag out there.
Are you?
We may be able to cut some time out if we can ask the priest to go through the city. That gives you plenty.
Are you going to try and avoid the steam train, like drive all the way around it to get to the city, or are you going to take a relatively direct route, which involves driving right up to the steam train?
Would it be worth sending anybody to do some recon?
I mean, some reconnaissance would help.
I mean, she looks kind of hesitant because she's like, I'm terrible at this, but it might be why, if we had someone go a bit closer on foot, maybe we could get an idea of who they are and what their faction.
By the way, driver, are you hull down? Did you drive right up to the top?
Hey, yeah, we're at the top.
Okay. It's at roughly this juncture, then that you notice that this is clearly a very high value asset. You will not leave this just unguarded. So there are a couple of people that are clearly standing guard around this thing, whilst other people are working. And again, they appear to be unloading things. At one point, you see about 40 people jump out of one of the passenger compartments and start walking about. And then some of the people who were clearly on guard start waving and gesturing at the people who were working, and you notice people who were once walking are suddenly running. You are aware that you present a very obvious silhouette on the horizon.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna just drive back down and then...
Back down and around.
Okay. Give me a driving roll at -1. Excellent. So you slam into reverse, which is just pulling 2 sticks back, and you go back under the horizon. You've clearly been spotted, but you're in a vehicle and they're on foot. You get behind the hill and then you drive off 90 degrees. Do you want to go north or south?
South.
Okay. So you turn south and you put your pedal to the metal as you... Oops, I grabbed the wrong thing. And you end up in this hex without difficulty. You are aware that if these people were chasing you, there's no way they're going to be able to catch up. They didn't appear to have vehicles capable of chasing you other than trucks, and they'd be silly to chase an APC in a truck. So, yeah. You are, however, also aware that very, very obvious tracks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to go to ground, or do you want to continue circling around and going to Praska?
Circling around.
Circle around.
Yeah.
All right. How close to Crespice do you get? I'll tell you, the closer you get to Crespice, the faster the journey will be. But who knows? Going close to Crespice may have its negatives as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, like here.
Yep. Okay. Whole different hex. I'm gonna have Dalton make settle down. Step out of the vehicle.
About alright. Though I am actually curious on. Wait. We were able to
Sorry.
get in very quickly. What's going on now? Was there some kind of security breach?
Please step out of the vehicle.
Alright.
Help me
Excellent.
get out.
Yeah, I help the Commodore get out.
Sorry, out of player, what did I miss? I had to step away for a moment.
So
we've
you
been
drove
asked to get out.
around.
Basically, we got stopped. Instead of coming right in casually as we were used to, we were stopped by the checkpoint. And we're
Prescott.
asked to get
Okay.
out of the vehicle.
Understood.
And I'm helping the Commodore out.
As you do that, you're aware that several infantrymen clustered around you, and without asking permission, they start taking your weapons away. Resist,
What
or
the
do you
heck
go
is-
along with this?
What the heck is going on?
There are some.
Even if I'm visibly suspicious about this whole situation, it would be too much of a risk to resist.
Oh, great. What did Griever do this time?
You will find out about that very shortly. For the moment, we have to. Well, it's for the major and captains and lieutenants. It's for the officers to work out. I've just been told that when you come back, but away from your vehicle, have your weapons confiscated, and taken under guard to the major's headquarters.
All due respect, but the Commodore needs medical attention.
If the Commodore's a severe casualty, he will require a lot of medical assistance. Chemical agents. Doctor,
And
would you be able to specify the agents that we've discovered? Doctor?
I mean, the doctor would. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Yes.
I barely
Nice.
can't even. You see,
The officers will
I-
just carry on, please.
Yeah. You guys see, yeah, I can't barely walk as it is, so
Yeah. In order to get to the medical tent, you'll have to go past the headquarters anyway, and I think you'll understand the situation when you get there. He's clearly not amused.
Understood.
let's go.
Now, come
Let's
on.
find out.
Hang on,
I'm
with your
very
weapons-
interested.
Carry on.
He's like, I'm very interested in finding out what the heck he did this time.
I hope you don't mind my very loud mom.
That's fine. Your weapons confiscated, and wondering what Sergeant Gavriel did this time. You are marched at a slightly quicker than normal pace. It's uncomfortable, particularly for the Commodore.
Master Game's probably
Even
gonna go back and
if the
support.
lieutenant is actually trying to help the Commodore.
Yep. But it's tough. It is tough, and they are not cutting the Commodore any slack because of his injuries. And you are marched unceremoniously through the center of town, heading towards the headquarters building, the medical building being just on the other side, or medical tents being just on the other side of it. And in order to do that, you have to go through the town center, which hopefully now will be on the map. And in the middle of the town center, just by the statue, in front of the town hall, see a post. Tied to that post is the very obviously dead body of Sergeant Gavriel. Hanging around his neck is a sign that says, "I was a traitor. I assaulted my comrades."
Oh, great.
As they see the body, Soboslaw is completely silent. As he just only looks over to the Commodore and Rostogram because he's mentally just, what the bloody fuck happened here?
Let's get up to the HQ. You're gonna have to help me up there. Whatever the fuck he did. He goes, whatever the fuck he did to... he literally disobeyed orders anyway. He was supposed to rest up.
Then I suppose we'll get the actual context when we get there. Right? Come on. I'll help you.
Yep.
I'll keep helping you, I mean.
Out of character, that this is officers only who will be taken up to HQ.
Everyone will be taken to HQ,
Okay.
being interrogated by officers, but everyone's going to HQ.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you're taken into the HQ building, and towards the former town hall, and you're taken into a side room, and you're all put into separate rooms. You are, as I said, divvied up, and you're not tied up, you're not handcuffed or anything along those lines, but you are told to sit down and wait. You're all very much aware there is a man with a gun outside the door.
He goes, this is really uncomfortable to sit on this seat.
Yes, they don't care. But yes. We'll start.
Can he sit again?
Well, Soboslaw was actually just quietly and patiently waiting, all the while considering a few things.
What is Soboslaw considering?
One, what the fuck did Gabriel do? Two, if this is the result of Gabriel shenanigans going to like this, then what would happen to them if they were thrown into a bloody kangaroo cult?
Yep, that's worthwhile considering.
The Commodore the Commodore sits on the floor with his back against the wall.
Uncomfortably.
He feels more comfortable, and he goes, "I'm not protecting him now."
Okay,
Rusty
we'll start with
is-
the Commodore.
Oh, okay.
Oh, please carry on, Rustogram.
She's kind of like slumped in her seat. Just like, oh my. It's just been like, I mean, yesterday she almost lost the Commodore and could have almost lost the lieutenant. And then she comes back and the sergeant is dead. And, she's, it's sad and kind of disappointing just that, because also he was her buddy out of character. So that's going to come into effect, I'm sure too. But, in character, it's like, she felt like he didn't, she kind of understood that he didn't really trust her much compared to anybody else was kind of what she understood. But she felt like she was getting to a point of being able to trust him, and it just kind of, it hurts to her because she's so used to, like, I mean, she's already been abandoned by her last squad, and then it's like, oh no, like, what, this one was kind of a bit of a mess, it looked like, but maybe there was going to be some hope, and it just seems like it's kind of deflated her now that she's come back and he's gone.
That makes complete sense. Just dragging your tokens onto the map just to make it clear which building you're in, but yeah, it's not going to be immediately relevant. And okay, so we'll start with the Commodore. Commodore, you're sitting down in this relatively undecorated, blank room. There's a desk, there's a chair. You're ignoring them as you sit stolidly against the wall. After a minutes, 2 guards walk in, and a few seconds later, the Major Samantha Stratford, walks in to the room and says, "Good evening, Commodore."
Good evening, Major.
You have doubtless seen the body of your colleague, Square. Tell me, what did you know about what he was doing?
He was supposed to be resting up.
Strange, then. What do you imagine he did that got him up against that pole?
Attacked somebody, shot somebody, number of things.
He did all of those things. And arguably worse still, he attempted to sow a form of discord, I believe, about what was happening. He also made various threats and cautions, some of which I have taken seriously. He was, in some ways, a very observant and insightful man. In other ways, an uncontrollable moron.
Yeah.
He's just waiting to see if there's a reaction.
Yeah, he's like that. I've been meaning to either ditch him or find some way to tell him. I gave him a lot of options to, like, he can go home, but he chose not to.
I see. Then you have come back here. Why? What has occurred that has brought you back here? I understand that you are in some state of great physical distress.
That's why I'm sitting down here, because it's quite uncomfortable for me to sit in a chair right now.
What has happened to
We checked out the village that you needed checking out. Good news! You got a well-supplied fuel truck ready to go and get picked up if you... with a lot of supplies of food and medical supplies.
That is very encouraging to hear. And what about weapons and munitions?
Oh, there's stockpiles over there.
Let's see. Please make me a persuasion roll.
Lucky for me.
Okay.
Success.
Major sort of leans back and seems to be considering what you've said. After a few minutes, she will say, "This sergeant of yours, he behaved in a most strange manner. He came, suggested that there was some kind of a plot, refused to provide details. When questioned, decided that it would be better to attack and shoot the people who were asking him questions. he attempted to talk his way out of that, but the man drew a gun on one of my lieutenants. That is not acceptable. He was completely untrustworthy after that incident, and, well, I can't have a man shooting my own soldiers and not take some kind of steps against him, let alone shooting the people that he was sworn to fight alongside.
Hmm. I'm wondering what changed.
What do you think happened, Commodore?
I think he lost his mind.
Commodore, the people who lost their minds around here, well, they lost it a long time ago. No, he was of sound mind. He knew exactly what he was doing.
If he was sound of mind, then oh well. It's his personality. He's a control freak. He's obsessed with power.
That is a very dangerous but very common obsession. So tell me, Commodore, what do you think might have caused him to start talking about plots and coups and natives uprising?
I don't know. I think it was his time. I don't know.
Hmm. And she walks over
Being
to
weird.
you. She walks over to you and reaches down with her left hand, and you're aware that her right hand is held back in a position to be able to do something if you decide to try and fight. And she reaches out
He
with her left hand. Carry on.
he he grabs her left hand.
She pauses, her eyebrows raised, waiting to see what you do next.
He slowly uses her to get up and the wall
Okay.
and leans against the wall so the wall can balance him up, right?
She looks right into Commodore's eyes and is fixing them with a really steely glare and says, "Do you know what the sergeant was going to do?
Nope.
What are you going to do next?"
Me?
Yes. Do you want to do next?
I just want to go home.
Hmm.
But in doing so, we need to stabilize Poland in order to do that.
Are you with us?
Yeah.
She
Yes.
nods. Out of character question. Are you actually with her or are you planning something? 'Cause I
He
know
isn't
there
gonna
was a whole
play.
seduction thing. But yeah, carry on.
He's with them.
Hmm?
He's totally with them. Yeah. Basically to, because he wants to go. He just wants to go back home. That's all he
Right.
wants to do.
And not to mention the
Uh,
whole plot has actually been destroyed because Gabrielle decided to try to be a main character.
yeah. So he can't really do anything because the Gabrielle
Basically
literally
destroyed
destroyed.
all of our chances.
Yeah.
Okay. In that case, I'm not going to make you do a roll to attempt to lie to the Major. So, yeah, the Major fixes you with this stern gaze and seems to be really thinking about what you've said. And quietly, eventually says, "I believe you, Commodore. I believe that you had nothing to do with what the sergeant did. I believe that you do not plan to do anything foolish or rash. Maybe place for you yet. I will not tarnish you with the crimes of another without cause.
Thank you, Major.
Now, please, Sid, I will have the doctor visit you, and if he feels it necessary to take you to the medical tent, he shall do so. Remain under guard for a time whilst I talk to your friends, but believe that everything can return to normal soon.
Thank you. And he goes to try to sit back down. He slowly.
You're aware that the major is sort of guiding you down to make it gentle. Now, for a few moments,
Thank
she'll
you.
let go of your. A few moments, she'll let go of your hand. Thank you, Commodore. And she leaves.
Yep.
And next, we will go to Lieutenant Soberslau. Lieutenant, you're left to stir for a few more minutes whilst the Major is talking to the Commodore. But eventually...
I think...
Carry on.
I think throughout the time as he's been stirring, the stressors that have been somewhat stirring around like a stew, sort of decided to actually really temporarily set aside his own actual feelings of the whole situation and just practically get into that mindset of straight out when he was initially trained, like just
Okay.
complete soldier mode.
Right. Got it. Excellent. So after a few minutes, the Commodore, not the Commodore, the Major will walk in with two guards. And the Major will say, Lieutenant Soberslau, are you quite well?
Yes, Major.
Very good, Lieutenant. Now, doubtless saw the body of your sergeant came in here. What do you think occurred, Lieutenant?
An assault of those in the unit. Potential treason, Major.
Indeed. Now, when you left the sergeant here to go about your mission, what would you imagine the sergeant was going to do?
I was assuming that the sergeant would actually finally grow his brain and actually remain in the medical tents and recover from his injuries.
So you had no knowledge that he was going to act in some strange fashion?
I was hoping he would actually finally agree to some common sense and recover, but the sergeant, from what I've observed, had a history of repeatedly going against orders, Major.
Had you observed that before?
I have observed that, yes.
What was a moment of insubordination you bore witness to?
Starters, he was the one who... He snuck into one of the villages close by to Crespi's. GM, can you remind me again?
Yeah, so he lied to the party and said that he was going to Praska when he, along with Dr. Rostergram, snuck
He
to
lied
Crespi's.
to go into Praska, but instead went to the village nearby here, Major.
I see. Lied to you as well. That is most disheartening. Now, he came to me and came to others with all sorts of strange claims about coups and plots and natives turning against people and spies and disloyal officers. What do you know about any of this?
Major, I have no knowledge of the sergeant even having the audacity to engage in such insubordination and insurrective activities, Major.
See. And I understand that you have just returned from your mission to Sesta Chalva. Tell me, what was the result of that mission? What happened?
First off, we found an extremely well-fueled fuel tank, which we've managed to park right next to the vault that we've discovered. not only does it have a massive amount of medical supplies, there's also potential forms of munitions, potential forms of defense against biological and chemical weaponry. However, it is protected by a still active chemical agent that has almost claimed the lives of both the Commodore and myself.
I understand. And how widespread throughout the city is this chemical agent?
It is only within the vault in the cellar of the building, Major.
See.
Fortunately.
I see.
However, they
She
are
nods her
feral
head.
dogs.
Yes. It is easy to dismiss such things, but their bites can be quite lethal. Oh. Well, that is interesting to hear. And what of the village of Gris Peace? Are there anything about that area that you wish to report?
Yeah, and I think I'm kind of mentally stumped. I
Yeah,
know
like
personally, I want to have them left alone, but
out of character, you know that they want to be left alone. The deal has already been given to the major about only a couple of people. You've got to come in the open. We can have talks, etc. But otherwise, stay the hell away from us. Other than that, the only weird thing that you've seen is the train. Everything else she already knows.
there was a steam engine that we've detected around 1:30 o'clock, close to the village. However, we weren't able to properly examine in detail what they were doing, but there were trucks. And there were passengers that...
She seems very alert now and interested. Train. You said
Yes.
you saw trucks.
Yes. Cranes that were unloading trucks, Major.
Did you see which direction those trucks drove off in?
No, we were...
Out of character, you didn't.
Well,
yeah.
When we found them, they were being unloaded. They were not moving away.
I see. Oh. Train. She's not going to say, "Are you sure?" Because you don't exactly get confused over a train. But
A bloody steam engine, especially.
Yeah, but she's clearly surprised by this development, and she doesn't make much of an effort to hide it. She looks concerned. See. Now, tell me, Lieutenant, what do you plan on doing next? What do you want to happen next?
Personal standpoint, I believe it would be for the best to try to stabilize this entire area and hopefully get all of us back home after all of this is said and done.
And how would you propose on stabilizing this area?
By assisting you, of course, Major. What I've seen. Hopefully
She nods.
my capacity would be useful, if need be.
I have an excellent set of skills, Lieutenant. You're very useful to me. So, you are with us through and through, Lieutenant.
Yes, Major.
Out of character, is that a lie? Are you plotting anything, or are you really behind her?
Personally, he's a little bit contemplative. However, personally, he's more, because if basically, as I said, the surgeon literally destroyed all potential things, so he might as well go fully on board at this point.
Okay. All right. Okay. Give me a persuasion roll, because it's reluctant.
Wait.
So give me a persuasion roll.
Just
I know it's true.
Like, just tiny amount of reluctance. Like, a slight amount of reluctance that a British person could easily just hide behind with such
We British. So yeah, give me the persuasion. Don't worry, nothing horrendous, but just give me the persuasion roll anyway.
Alright.
Okay. So the major looking you right in the eye and appears to be sizing you up, and you get the feeling that there are cogs turning. But after a few moments, she will smile and say, "Thank you for your candor, Lieutenant. I do not believe you had anything to do with the sergeant's actions. I believe you when you say that you are with us through what might be about to unfold. Thank you. Remain here for a few moments, and I will continue to talk to your friends. But I believe everything could be just fine.
Understood, Major.
Okay. And she steps away. Now turn to Dr. Rostigam. Dr. Rostigam, you've been left alone for the longest period of time, but eventually the Major will come in to talk to you. Is there anything you do or want to bring up prior to the Major appearing, or do you just sit there very quietly?
I was praying a rosary. I almost said Rostigam. Anyway. Anyway, she's been praying a rosary. Depending on how long the interrogation or discussion with the other teammates has been going, she may have finished up or is still in progress.
Yeah, I'm going to say about half an hour. It's not too long.
Okay.
So you might be into the second rosary.
Mm-hmm.
But okay. So after that time, 2 guards will walk in, followed by the Major.
All right, she'll pocket the straighten attention.
I see. Are you at prayer, Doctor?
Yes. Yes. In her head, she's like,
What are you?
She's like, that's such a strange question, but okay.
And what are you praying for, Doctor?
Praying for clarity of mind. It has been it's been a long couple of days, Major.
As for all of us, what clarity do you seek? What do you need clarity on, Doctor?
Oh, it's the way that my friends, my teammates seem to be hanging between life and death. And out of character, that makes no sense. I realize. Sorry. In character,
She's gonna use it, so you can go.
it just seems
Hanging
that
between.
there's
Carry on.
and just my father and my grandfather both served active duty, and they would talk about sometimes how it was difficult to sometimes know what was right and what was wrong. And I'm seeing that. I've seen it since I first set foot over on this continent, and I know you asked me why I'm a prayer. That's one of the biggest reasons I am a prayer.
The difference between right and wrong in this situation. A challenging issue indeed. Tell me, Doctor, do you believe that what you have been seeing over these past few days is right or wrong?
Well, there's only so much that I've been able to see, for one. But that's what happens when you're not an officer. But I don't know. There's not much that I've seen. There's more that I have heard. But hearing is not as useful as seeing.
What have you been hearing, Doctor?
Well, it's probably what you've heard. I mean, I'm sure you've heard it too. Just how we Americans are not helping matters. The Russians are not helping matters.
How exactly assume that I have heard nothing. How exactly are we not helping matters, Doctor?
Well, from the perspective of some who live here, we are no better than occupiers.
I see. Sergeant said some similar things. Tell me, what do you believe the sergeant did? Got him tied up against that pole, Doctor?
So she'll look pretty thoughtful as she's like, okay, what kind of things did my dad and granddad say? Well, probably something treasonous to the U.S. Constitution.
Well, yes, I suppose you could think of it in that fashion. And it would certainly be true to say that he acted in this fashion. He was insubordinate. He refused to answer questions or obey orders from a senior officer. When challenged, drew a gun and shot his comrades.
Oh my.
When he was eventually captured, he said something similar to me we've just said now, albeit a more severe version. He talked of plots, coups, of people rising up against us. Would you happen to know anything about that, Doctor?
I happen to know people talk. But whether there's any force behind those words.
Which people? What do they say?
Well, I think you would know as well as I that we come from a place where we can say whatever we want. So you'll forgive me if I don't always put much weight behind talks of what is going to be done or what someone hopes to do.
But it would not be acceptable, back home even in peace, to actively plot to overthrow the government.
No, but that would be treasonous.
So, I must ask you again, Doctor. What people are talking? Which ones? And what did they say? If they are saying nothing but idle murmurs, then I have no quarrel with them. But if there is a plot, I must know who the conspirators are, Doctor. Doctor, your silence is conspicuous.
Out of character, sorry, my roommate was asking me something.
Oh, fine. Oh, okay, that's actually fine.
Sorry. Sorry, doctor, it's not going well for you. Well, I think the man who knew the most is the one who claimed to have known the most, is the one who decided to try and commit treason against the U.S. Constitution, so.
Out of character, are you deliberately trying to keep Eugenia's name out of this, or is this just a moment of out of character, you not thinking those things?
I don't know if Rostregam knows Eugenia by name, because she was, she spent during half of that conversation, she was not really there, because she was elsewhere on the base. So truthfully, Rostregam probably doesn't know a whole lot, just because of that.
Okay. I think you were in the APC, like the whole party was in the APC when they talked to Eugenia.
Okay. But Eugenia was not murmuring about overthrowing or anything. That was more, I think we had started that conversation. And then,
that is correct, yeah.
So truthfully, there is no one.
Yeah, there was an element of, if you back us, maybe we'll give you some stuff like clothes and food and look after your kid and all that. But other than that, not much.
Basically, the Commodore wanted more evidence.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Before acting anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you learned about the executions. So Major will give you a long look. Say, so Doctor, what do you want to happen next?
I want the Commodore to live.
I will ensure that that happens. So now that I am looking after the Commodore, beyond that, what is your next step? Do you wish to continue working here with us, with your fellow countrymen and comrades, or do you have something else in mind?
Major, can I ask you, what was our purpose for coming here? In your words.
When you say here, do you mean this town? Do you mean to Poland? What do you...
Why did we engage in a war? Your words.
Because our article obligations were engaged when strikes were made against Germany by Russia, therefore engaging a war of all of NATO against the Soviet Union. Did this to defend and protect NATO. Did this to defend and protect our allies and ourselves. Once the war had begun, the Poles came to our side in some fashion, but they are not a NATO member. Poland is the battleground where that war happens to be fought.
I came because I was drafted. But that is not why I will be staying. I mean, I know you... I'll try and keep it brief. I was trying to be a doctor. I came very close to being a doctor. And then I was drafted. And even though my skills have certainly come in handy for patching up wounded, my doctor instincts of wanting to heal and to repair, they've only grown since I've been here. So what is my next step? What can I fix? What can I heal next?
She nods and says, I may have come to Poland to fulfill the obligations of the United States to her allies. That war, whilst it is still technically ongoing, has transformed into something that none of us could have perceived or anticipated. It is not necessarily a war that is fought anymore. It is merely one that you survive. And now, my principal obligation, as this war appears to have ended, is to my unit and to my people, is to try and keep as many of them alive as is possible. We have considered going home, but we have ruled that that is impractical at the current time. So, let's work to keep my people healthy, safe, and alive. Looking to the doctor to see how she reacts to that.
She's nodding slowly.
Is this something that you wish to help us with?
I suppose that, technically being from a different unit, I am not from the 6th, I am from the 27th. So I only am aware of the orders of the 6th. I do not know what my orders are of the 27th. But for the time being...
Unit cohesion.
But for the time being, it is... I've decided it... Well, it has been brought to my attention, or it just makes the most sense to just stay here with the rest of my new unit until as long as I'm needed.
I'm glad that you think of it as your new unit, Doctor. Unit cohesion, unit responsibilities, they have long since broken down. We are the 6th Mechanized Infantry Division, 3rd Battalion in all but name. Oh, sorry, in name only. In reality, I have dribs, drabs, and survivors from a great many different formations. And they are all now together as one battalion, single battalion. They are all my boys and girls. They are all my soldiers. You are as welcome here as any of them can be one of my soldiers, Doctor.
I understand.
So are you with us, Doctor? Are you with me, with the brothers and sisters in arms that surround you here? Are you with us through it all?
She looks down at her hands for a minute. Is thinking about just just all the blood that she's seen on her own hands from having to heal, and just kind of where is the safe, like where would be the safest place for her teammates. And she looks back up and says, I have seen no reason to doubt your words, Major.
Out of character. That's very well worded. In the Doctor's heart, is that a lie or is that the truth?
Well, like she said, she hasn't seen any evidence of any misconduct. It's been everyone else in the party has been the one who's been seeing things. Like Gavriel saw things, but for Rostogam, no. And again, even whatever the Village of Crispis has said, she has not seen it herself. I mean, it matters. I mean, on one hand, it matters that a priest is telling her this has been what's happened, but yeah.
In that case, the Major will nod, smile. You're aware that she's been looking you in the eye for some time with a concerning lack of blinking on her part. But after a while, she will indeed blink, and her entire expression appears to soften and warm, and she has a smile. Says, "Thank you for that, Doctor. I believe you when you say these things. And your colleagues have all said something similar. The crimes of the Sergeant do not need your crimes. As you continue to work here with us,
is the rest of my unit here as well? Oh, sorry, I thought that was a question. Keep going.
Yeah, no, as you continue to work here with us, I am sure that everything will proceed smoothly, Doctor."
Mm-hmm. She's nodding.
By the way, Doctor, do you happen to see anything interesting as you returned from the city?
Well, I didn't see much because I didn't have a window in my seat, but I know that we did pull over, and the lieutenant and the sergeant had both said we needed to take a look, and so we saw a steam engine, which I was surprised at. But we did not go closer to see whether it was NATO or Russian or Polish or another faction.
I see. And is there anything that you wish to tell me about the city of Sestachova?
I think we know why people have been dying when they come in and out. I'm sure that Lieutenant Sobiesov specifically would have mentioned, or even the Commodore would have mentioned, the chemical agents that we found. Right when we also found Well, after we found your fuel, granted.
That they did, and they mentioned the fuel as well. I assure them that you appreciate that I have to make sure you're all saying the same thing, she says with a warm smile. But you kind of get the feeling that she's able to put on a warm smile whenever she damn well pleases, no matter what might actually be going on in her mind.
Mm-hmm.
And she'll give you a nod and say, well, thank you. I will give orders to the guards that you all to be released. Tent is ready for you with the rest of the men. And as I said, I am honest to my word, the Commodore will receive proper medical attention.
Good.
In the meantime, I would appreciate a meeting with you all, as well as some of my senior officers, about what to do next.
All due respect, why would I need to be there? I'm not an officer.
Oh. Do not wish to attend, I will not compel you, but you have proven to be a capable doctor, and the words of a physician are not to be lightly ignored.
I understand.
Well, and yes, the guards will go to all of you, and you will be escorted out. Everything is a lot warmer now. People are not being so shunty and shovey. Your weapons are not returned to you. You are told that they will be returned to you when you leave the town for whatever reason. And you are shown to tents that can be yours. And the Commodore is briefly given a medical inspection that shows that Dr. Rostogam has done everything that they meaningfully can, but that there's not a huge amount more to be done, and it's just a matter of time.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Just realised I've had you on the town of Crespis, not the town of Praska, but fortunately the town centres are the same, more or less.
Just say,
Yep.
Yep. I've just noticed that. But yep.
Oopsies.
Okay. Oopsie, but well. So after a few now you've got a few hours before any of you are disturbed and you're all together. Do you want to do anything with those few hours?
He's gonna he's gonna ask the medical staff to have something to be able to help him walk around.
painkillers.
Okay. Your legs are physically fine. They do give you crutches, but Dr. Rostogram will probably be able to tell you, if the doctor wants to, that that's basically a placebo. There's nothing physically wrong with your legs.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he'd be a little unbalanced because of
The fact that he's
He's
literally in a way of death.
yeah.
Yeah, that's just general. Yeah,
Because
general. Carry on.
because when your brain is unbalanced or something like that, or your upper body is a little unbalanced, your whole body is like you're a little bit wobbling.
They don't give you any drugs to deal with that. You're aware that there might be drugs that could deal with that. They don't give you any. Probably because they don't have them.
Yep.
But yeah, you are given crutches, so even though your legs are fine, you can put weight on that. Maybe that'll help you be stable, but
Yeah.
it's not really what you need.
Yeah, he just needs to be stable enough.
Yeah. Do you do anything else with those few hours?
Well, he's going to have to stay around the town square because it's going to be a little bit harder for him to get around. Yeah.
After a while, you are all invited in to a meeting at which the Major is present, and a couple of other officers are there, some of whom you recognize. And the Major will ask you all, so, thank you for answering my questions earlier. It is much appreciated. Now we must deal with the next steps. You say there is a fuel truck ready to go in Sestakova. I never really can understand these Polish pronunciations. But how do you propose that we get there if we are unable to go through the town of Crespis?
Hmm.
Character? Mind if I have a?
Oh, look at the map. Yep.
Yeah.
I'll take us over to the travel map.
Right. Where's our city of?
So I'll ping. So you are currently here, and this is where the NATO base is.
Mhm.
And the objective where the fuel is here. And this is the area, Crispy's, where you've been asked to please don't drive through, that you had to drive around in the truck earlier.
Of course. There are multiple alternative methods, of course. First route is from a circle around from. I can't see that because covered in red line.
Yeah, there are loads of Soviet troops there, you know that.
Alright. Well,
Hence why.
for starters, there's a possibility that, abiding by the agreement that we have with Chris Peace, we could try to maneuver ourselves around down to Obrodzian, and then we go down to Crystal Shower. However, that may take a little longer.
To take the roads through Luxembourg and Pole.
Yes.
I've been able to scout those roads. We've put some scouts at the town of Luxembourg. It is not an issue, but we have not been able to get as far as Opole and Drobtizien. There may be unknown dangers there.
Or we can go around the village of Crispies.
You say that there is a truck or a lorry with lots of fuel. What kind, is it? A wheeled or tracked vehicle?
Wheeled. Out of character, is it wheeled or tracked?
It is wheeled, yeah.
It is wheeled, Major.
There may be some difficulties going off-road. That's going to weigh a lot, and we'll be bogged down heavily in any mud.
Yeah. That's the only issue we have with the fuel tank. Or, there is another possibility for us. Because two of us can actually go through the city, if we request to go through, if we can get another person to help us drive our vehicle back, by two of us jump into the truck.
She nods her head and says, well, I will be able to spare some men to assist you with this. In fact, if you are willing to allow me to siphon some fuel from your vehicle, I could in theory mobilize a second vehicle to join you.
Yes, that'll be good. Because we managed to fuel up our tank to the max before
There should
leaving.
be plenty of fuel then to allow. We took half of your tank. Very good. She nods and says, so you believe that two vehicles could skirt around the town of Crespis, head to Sestashala, pick up the vehicle, and then drive back through Crespis after negotiation?
Yes.
Turns to the rest of the group and says, do you all agree with this plan?
It would definitely be one of the most effective measures of handling the situation. I believe this is probably most likely the best alternative, the best option we can go forwards to.
Nods. Says, and I understand that you would rather that we did not move a large force through the town of Crespis. Is that correct?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
We can possibly get 3 vehicles through, but yeah, if we move the whole force, I don't think the people, yeah.
Well, my difficulty is moving so many people. If we were to have an entire articulated lorry's worth of fuel, that should allow me just enough fuel to fuel all my vehicles to allow us to take the longer route through Kluxborg, Pole, and Dobdezien and avoid Crispies entirely, but we will need to stay on tarmac. The difficulty is we do not know what lies there.
Yes.
Tell me, do you have any reason to believe that anybody else knows that Sestashower is now, or Sestakova, is now approachable?
I don't think it is still approachable, but if people knew that a group has successfully went in and came back out, there will be people gaming to go to the gaming there.
This is my concern as well. You have no reason to believe that anybody knows that you got in and out.
Master Gam kind of raises an eyebrow at that. Except
Doctor,
because
you're
she's thinking
concerned.
like, well, there was that whole train that we passed of people, assuming that they would have known that we were coming out of Chestokawa. But that's kind of where that's the raised eyebrow response. You're like, wait, what? But she's also like, I don't know if anyone else said anything, so I don't know if I'm supposed to say something.
There's the train issue.
Okay.
How do you mean, Commodore?
Well, they did see us.
And you were coming down the road out of Sestakova.
Right.
We were sitting on the hill.
They would have been able to tell that you were a NATO vehicle.
Yeah.
And they would have been able to track our tracks.
Yeah.
Then time may be of the essence. Cannot afford to wait. I will take a great risk. And she sort of looks out of the window and grumbles a little bit to herself, and then looks back at all of you. Says, I will take a great risk. It appears that there's a lot more fuel than just this articulated lorry in the town of Sestakova.
Yes.
Is that correct? Right.
Yes. There's a lot more.
I will leave you with 1/3 of your tank of fuel. I will take 1/3 of that and give it to a Bradley APC that I will entirely load out with my own men. And I will take another third of it and put it one of my M60 tanks. We'll head with both the M60 and the Bradley to Sestakova. Once you have reached Sestakova, the Bradley and the M60 will secure the site. We'll return with the lorry of fuel. This will then be used to fuel the rest of the vehicles. And we will then begin a move sweeping round to the south. The majority of my force, whilst a small team hopefully holds Sestakova about against anyone who may wish to poke their noses in. Do you have any comments on this plan?
No.
She looks at the whole group.
Master Gam is shaking her head no.
Soboslav?
What was the question again?
She outlined the plan, which is that she was going to siphon fuel from your vehicle to get one of her Bradleys and one of her M60s moving.
There'll be no problem, Major.
Yep, okay. Very good. It is now evening. I understand the Commodore is going to require some time to rest. Commodore, do you have a good relationship with the people of Crispies?
Yes. Me and the minister, the priest, they have a mutual understanding.
Good. There may be a need to negotiate with them as you have outlined. Now, I'm aware that you are in a severe state of... Well, you are a wounded man, Commodore. I will outfit you with appropriate medical supplies to manage your condition, but I would ask that you go out again, not to face combat, but so as that you may talk to people if necessary.
I will. I'll be better off if I talk to the priest. He'll be more understanding with me.
Very good. Very good. Since this is an absolutely vital mission upon which we are staking the entire fortune of this enterprise, is there anything in terms of equipment, vehicles, troops, supplies, anything to ask of me?
If we were to potentially get into the vault when we return back to, let me just return back to Crescent Shower, for where the vault could potentially be. There could be a possibility if we have the NBC protective gear that could be utilized. There could be some way that we could actually get some from the vault safely out without being affected by the chemical agent.
She nods and says, I appreciate that. Regretfully, I do not have any remaining proper NBC equipment. It was used long ago. I do have the odd gas mask here or there that I will ensure that people coming with are equipped with, but no more than that. I do, however, have one can, that is it, just one can, of general-purpose decontamination spray. The problem is that whoever is using it needs to be in the contaminated area.
Lucky for us, the contaminated area is in one section.
Very good. Hopefully the gas mask will allow whoever is using it to survive whilst they are attempting to contaminate the area. Normally it would only ever be done by someone in full NBC protection, but as I said, I do not have that. And whilst I have some inkling of where it may be, I do not have the ability to go and get it.
I look to
So you're saying
Draco. I look to Draco
So be slow.
when she says that. Silverslow.
Yes.
When we leave the meeting, will you get it?
I will. Absolutely.
what she said is she has some inkling of where the proper NBC equipment might be, but she cannot get to it.
Where is it?
Where apparently everything is. Krakow.
But we could possibly find a full suit in the building. We haven't actually scouted out the whole building.
I see.
Seems one part of a very large complex.
See. Well, time is of the essence. Is there anything else in terms of equipment or supply that you may desire?
Major, I believe.
No? Not
Very good.
money.
In that case, please all rest up. My technicians will see to the fuel siphoning overnight, and you will leave at the crack of dawn.
Understood.
Understood, Major.
Very good. Dismissed. And lots of people start filing out.
And he noticed that he's a little bit hungry, and he's like, "Where's dinner?"
You won't have dinner in the officers' mess tonight due to you being wounded, but you will be brought food in your tent. Everyone will be brought food. You're actually quite well fed today.
Yeah.
And just in terms of record keeping, we're expected to be going away on a slightly longer mission than normal, plus this is very important. So the all given, and you're aware that you're being given more than normal, that the Major and her quartermaster will ensure that you are all equipped with 5 days worth of water before you leave.
Augers.
Yep. If that's more than carry for whatever reason, it is put in the vehicle. So note that yourselves. And you are also given more ammunition to the point where all have, at minimum, 4 magazines worth of ammunition for your respective weapons, unless it's a belt-fed weapon, in which case you've got at minimum 2 belts. If you already have more than that, they won't give you any more. But yeah, you're given ammunition to take you up to that. And are given as a part of your team who are going to be accompanying you your favorite like NPCs, including Sarah Tolbeck, who's got a bloody anti-tank rocket launcher. So you know that is currently in your arsenal, and when you are and like NPC troops are put into your M113 to take it to maximum occupancy. The Bradley is at maximum occupancy, and also have an M60 tank. You have, it's old. It's not an Abrams. It's old, but you now have an actual proper tank. It's not yours to keep. It's not like the party vehicle, but that is one of your assets.
Yep.
Yes, second generational main battle tank from the United States.
Yes.
Yep. And so, yeah, you can tell the Major is putting like a vast amount of resources into this.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay.
And yes. Commodore's hops in, takes his seat, wait, he goes, "You're driving."
Well,
Excellent. I'm just putting it all on the road in the village. Hang on, I'll just move you back over to the map so you can see kind of what it looks like. Sounds strange. Doesn't want to load in. Ah, there we go. So you can see the 3 vehicles on the main road in the center of town. That's you, the Bradley that's supporting you, that's loaded with troops, and the M60 tank. I leave it to you what order you want them to be in. But okay, alright, so with all of this equipment, you start, at last, driving back off to Sestashawa via the Krezpice village, which you presumably mean to skirt again. I'm just going to pause for a quick moment whilst I step away from my mic. You might want to think about your plan and what you're going to do, and I'll be back in just a few moments.
alright.
Okay. We can skirt around and get around pretty quick. So when we do get over there, we're gonna have to get the 2 vehicles to block the both entryways. Into the main supply. Food supply. Vault. Because there's 2 entryways what we've seen.
Yeah, give me a second. I'll be right back. I think I might need to eat some dinner real quick because I haven't eaten at all.
Yeah, you're better
Oh,
off.
man.
Absolutely fine. I'm back, and yeah, when the rest of you are back, we can just talk about what's going to happen next. Crack on.
One thing that Rostergam may have done overnight, if it was possible. I don't know. Out of character, like, I think it's an idea. In character, it may not be one. But, is Gabrielle's body still hanging in the center of the town? Like...
it's tied to a post.
Okay.
So it's like feet are on the ground. It's not hanging up in the air or anything, and it's very clearly being left there for a few days as a warning.
Okay. She wouldn't be able to take his dog tags. Presumably, that might invite many questions. But he's still her. Like, he was still a friend of hers, so she would at least go up and just kind of say, "I'm sorry that it came to this, Gav."
Absolutely. I mean, that's absolutely fine. And no one is going to act weirdly when you do that. Like, his body's not under guard or anything. There are guards walking around, not going to be able to do this stealthily. But nobody says or does anything to stop you.
Yeah.
Body of Gavriel is conspicuously silent.
Yeah. it's just she's kind of, and she's thinking back to their last conversation would have been the night before the rest of us left, and he was just, I guess if this is what it was, what it takes to survive right up till the end.
Yes.
How does the doctor feel about all of this? Does the doctor blame Gavriel at all? Is she disappointed in him? Is she disappointed in herself? Is there some other emotion going on here?
I mean, she could be disappointed in herself because she wasn't there to do to help in any way. But on the other hand, she also has, like, I've known these people for how many days now? It's been like a week, So, when it boils down to it, what kind of stake do I really have in anyone's life here? But yeah, she was hoping he was going to get better, and clearly he had other plans. But so I guess she's kind of wondering, like, she's more confused than anything else. Like, why would he have acted the way he acted when he was well aware of what the team had been. He was part of that conversation, so it's just, she's kind of thinking, what made him choose to act out, and especially to shoot shoot an officer, that would be a serious push. So she's worried a bit about, what happened while we weren't here to make him think that way, and to do that. Does that mean that she was wrong? That the whole group is wrong to be trusting the Major? Did they all miss something? Is the Major lying to them? I don't know. Like, I mean, is the Major lying? Probably not, but, is there something that wasn't said here? And probably, there's a lot of a lot of questions, and she's not going to get those answers, probably. But mostly she's, it just seemed like the way that she thought different. I don't know, she thought that Gabriel was seeking something different, and then the way that he acted seemed very different from someone who just was done with the war, and someone who was, I don't know, just wanting to be left alone, kind of, and to leave others alone. It just seems kind of, yeah, that's probably what she's going to be thinking during the whole car ride too, but...
Yeah, makes sense.
APC ride.
Okay.
Unless anybody else has anything they want to do sort of overnight or before they leave, we can cut to that car ride.
Yeah. I'm not doing anything. I'll just hobble on to the vehicle and go. Suffolk style is driving.
Excellent. And do you plan on doing the...
I'm here just to talk to people until I fully recover.
Okay. Okay, this is a bit of a... she's gonna just hold up a hand. How many fingers am I holding up?
Is she holding up a holy tie hand?
She's holding up another, just any number of fingers. I'm sure that his vision's fine, but she's kind of trying to be kind of funny. I don't know, just to break some... Because it feels like all she ever does is ask people if they're okay. So
He goes, including your thumbs?
Yes, including my thumbs.
Oh, 10.
She kind of glances at the one hand she was holding up. Just goes, all right, let's go.
Completely misses serious symptom of seeing double.
Yep.
If he's only talking, it'll be okay.
Yeah.
Or for all she
Yeah.
knows, the Commodore's just messing with her. So,
Yep, he is.
so.
Are you planning on skirting around Chris Peace again, or do you want to try and talk your way through it?
Do we have enough fuel
I
to get through?
You've got
No.
enough fuel.
Okay.
Oh, run? Yep. Yeah, he's gonna skirt around.
Okay. As you are driving along, Sowislaw, as the driver, please make me a driving roll at -1.
Might be AFK.
Okay. I'll
There
do
was
it
talk of food
quickly.
before.
Ah,
Oh,
right, I didn't catch that.
you know.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
I'll roll that very quickly off of driving. Driving is B, so that'll become C.
Hey, my dinner's still cooking, so
welcome
yeah,
back.
I just want to drop in just temporarily.
Just in time. Please make a driving roll at -1.
All right, I'll drive. Beep beep.
Oh, excellent. You're fine. So you are driving along. Do you want to skirt around the village to the north or the south?
South.
Okay, driving along. And skirt off to the south. The Bradley and the M60 follow you without any difficulty. And you're all driving around to the south when I'll do this from Dalton. Well, would any of you rather be in the gunner seat than Dalton? Rather have
Hey, I'll be
Dalton
right
in the
back.
gunner seat.
My dinner's ready.
Okay.
My understanding
roll
is
it.
I
that
would
Dalton's
prefer
best
to-
qualified, but
Oh,
Yeah. It'll be Dalton.
unless Sarah
Okay, I'll
Tolbeck
roll
is
it.
any better.
Massively. Okay, so you're rumbling around, and Dalton at one point smacks the top of the vehicle and says, "Reverse, reverse, reverse!"
Reverse.
Okay, right. Like the other vehicles realize what's going on, and they kind of like back out of your way, and you reverse slightly behind a hill, just a very shallow one. And he says, I saw an anti-tank gun. Woods over there.
What the heck?
Do you think it might have come from the steam engine?
Yeah, I think it did. I think they're being occupied by Russians.
We still don't know if they're Russian, though.
Yeah. But how would they... Hmm.
But wait, but
Okay. How far is it, Dalton, to the... for the anti-tankies?
To the anti-tank gun, several hundred meters.
and it's aimed this way, towards
Yes.
in the general direction of Praska.
It is aimed in the general direction of Praska.
Okay.
It's almost like it's purposely set up to fire on things coming from Praska or that might be attempting to outflank the town of Crispies.
How many of the Major's troops are in this vehicle with us right now?
Well, in the M113, let me just quickly look at something. Cav. About crew. Okay, so there are 4 of you, 5 of you. I'd say about 8 of them.
Okay.
He goes,
And then the
Doc-
Bradley is going to have about roughly the same number of people because it carries fewer people than the M13. And then
Gotcha.
there's the tank as well. But yeah.
he goes, Doctor, can you come out with me?
I thought you were capable of moving on your own, sir.
I'll go and out there and see what's going.
Okay.
He grabs the white flag and see what.
Mhm.
He goes out on the crutches
Once they're
and waves it.
okay, because once they're further out of earshot, Rastagam's like gonna. I don't know if there was Gabriel had asked me to leave something in their mailbox. He had this emblem. Because you remember, I don't know if you remember, but we stopped a couple days ago on our first trip, and so that's where I left it. I don't know if they may be more on guard than usual, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Because out of character, Rashagam has no idea what that meant. She just was like, well,
Yeah.
Gav asked me to put it in, and I trust him enough to put it in.
Yep.
Dalton and I were talking it over, and we went, yep, maybe it's a good idea. So, yeah. I mean, out of character, I think I know exactly what that meant, but in character, she doesn't know.
He waves the white flag to see if anyone responds.
Okay. Are you waving it, trying to head towards the village, or trying to head towards the anti-tank gun, which is much closer?
The village.
Village. Okay. All right. So you do that. The village is a lot further away, but a white flag is pretty obvious. You kind of need to get to the top of a hill, that, and so it can also be seen by the anti-tank gun.
Yeah.
After a while, you don't see anything coming from the village, but you see 6 people coming from out of the woods, from where the anti-tank gun is hidden, and they are walking in your direction.
He goes,
Commodore.
hello there.
Do you want to try and look at them like binoculars and telescopes and so forth, like
Yeah.
telescopic sights? Okay, so long before they get to you, because it is several hundred meters, probably longer than that, and they're walking in open ground, you see that these people appear to have Polish army uniforms.
Yep.
Maybe it would be a good idea to get the lieutenant out here.
Yeah.
Or just anyone who speaks Polish.
He goes, Salvaska.
I can go back and get him if that's easier, sir.
Yeah,
Wait.
go back and get him.
Sorry, out of character. I forgot I'm not supposed to say sir. Anyway, so she'll presumably she'll jog back and just report to lieutenants that we saw.
Back. What I miss?
We have some. Oh, perfect timing too. Lieutenant, I think we have a few. We need someone who speaks Polish. And kind of gestures.
Allow me to introduce myself.
Yeah. With you going to dinner and not, did you hear the bit about the anti-tank gun?
I heard about the anti-tank gun we have. Yes.
No. So as you were
Wait,
driving,
not ours.
Wait, no. Yeah, I was completely deafened. I was just gone. I was
absolutely fine. So yeah, you do have an anti-tank rocket launcher yourself, but as you were driving along and you were skirting around the village, Dalton spotted something in the woods and told everybody to reverse their vehicles behind cover, which they did. and he revealed that he had spied an anti-tank gun in the woods pointing right at you. He
Yeah.
the Commodore has since walked out with a white flag to try and talk to some people, try and talk to the village and the anti-tank gun. The anti-tank gun's way closer, but it's still several hundred meters away. Some figures have emerged from the woods around where the anti-tank gun was, 6 of them, and are walking in your direction across an open field. And through like binoculars or the telescopic sight of Dalton's rifle, you can see that they are wearing Polish army uniforms.
Okay.
Yes. The Commodore needs you to come over.
Alright, coming over.
Yeah. Because he's not letting them know that we have like 3 vehicles. Because they're behind a.
Okay, so you're going to walk off, because if they come up to you, they'll be at the top of the hill as well and able to see down and say, oh, there are clearly 3 vehicles there. So
He's going to meet them at. Yeah.
We're gonna walk.
Alright.
He doesn't want them
So-
to know that we have 3 vehicles full of men.
Yep. So you walk up to roughly the halfway point. This means that you are several hundred meters away from your hill now, in the middle of an open field. And you meet up with these people. And you're a little distance away when they call out in Polish, which the lieutenant would understand, is that's close enough. Who are you?
I move my hand over to get the Commodore to stop moving because, well, as said, I'm the one who understands them.
Stop.
They're asking who we are. Hello?
NATO. Say we're NATO soldiers. You're British and I'm German. Navy.
NATO. I speak in Polish back. When NATO, I'm British. My associate here is from the German Navy.
Did Rostogram come out with this little troop as well?
Was I ordered to go with or stay in the vehicle? Team?
It's best off if.
It's best with just the 2 of us.
Okay. Then
Yeah,
she's back in
2 of us.
She's in the carrier.
Okay. Come from the direction of Praska. Come from there.
Yes.
I see. Why are you coming from Praska? What is your business?
I'm out of character. Get good alibi to get us all out of here.
He goes, tell him we're actually trying to keep to the truce with the priests. Priests said, what are they doing out this far? We're scouting around the village, not leaving him alone.
We are trying to leave the village alone as we agreed on with the village of Crespis. So we've been instead going around it instead.
See, are you the NATO soldiers that the priest spoke of?
Yes.
That he had conversations with?
Yes.
See. He sort of looks at you with narrow eyes and says, which one of you had the necklace?
Out of character? Who was it?
It was
It was Gavriel's necklace that was put in the post. Yep.
Gabriel.
It was Gabrielle.
That is the name we know. Where is he?
Out of character? Should I tell him?
Like he fucked up and tried to kill somebody? Yeah.
He attempted to murder one of our comrades and
lots of narrowed eyes. What are you going to do to get past here?
I'm gonna be honest, out of character wise, my head is farting badly.
Basically, we're actually trying to get around the village. Why are they facing?
We're trying to get around the village and not interfere with the village's business, but... Okay, what were you trying to say, Mac?
We're actually trying to get around the village, not interfere with the villages.
That's what I said, yes.
Yeah.
And where are you going to go?
It's none of his business. We're not interfering. As long as we're
trying to help a stranded unit that we have found.
Okay, I'm going to ask a couple of follow-up questions, but you are going to have to make a roll about that. A stranded unit, where?
Okay, out of character, I have a question. Which one is heavily eaten up by Soviets, but also conveniently close to Shetshawa, so we can just go in that direction and then come back as if we actually got the things? And by the number of people that is in there, that could be utilized as some way to quote unquote confirm our story, quote unquote.
So, yeah, you don't know for sure what Soviet formations there are past Sestashawa. I think there might be some at the in the sort of Kamiensk or Radomosko region. Those are the towns north of Sestashawa, or Sestakova rather. The only reason why you think that is because you know or you have been told there's a NATO unit in the town above it, and it doesn't seem to be able to move. So presumably it's been cut off somehow.
So, from... Yeah, this circle I can't read.
Oh, yeah, I have actually put a circle right over the name. That is my bad. So it would be Piotrkow Dubljansk. If you say something vaguely like that. Yeah.
Trubyansk. We've noticed that there was potential Soviet movements in both Kamiensk and Radomsko, and we're trying to relieve that.
Trying to relieve them. We noticed you have an APC. You are leaving them with a single APC.
Orders are orders.
Stand. Tell me, have you been anywhere else recently?
He goes, how can I go somewhere else? And clearly, and he looks at the crutches, clearly injured.
Again, narrowed eyes. Since Soboslaw's the one actually doing the talking in Polish, and Soboslaw came up with the whole going to relieve a NATO unit, give me a persuasion roll. Okay, all right. So there's a little bit of murmuring between the various troops, and you're standing a little distance away from one another, so you're aware that they're whispering to one another in Polish, but you can't really make out what they're saying. And eventually, they will say, wait a moment, we'll make a call. And one of them appears to run back woodland. If you do nothing, he will come back in a few minutes. Do you do anything, or do you wait?
Let's see what he is trying to do.
Yeah, let's have a look.
Okay.
Let's just wait here.
Okay. After a few minutes, the guy will come back. There'll be more whispering in Polish. And then...
And something that I can overhear, can I?
No, they're standing a good distance away from you. You're at yelling distance? Yeah. And then they will call back over the open distance between, saying, "It seems the priest remembers you. He has put in a good word, our commander. Your vehicle is to be allowed to pass, but know you will be watched."
Is appreciated.
Very well. You and your half-track may proceed. Now, they have not seen the other vehicles.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you plan on doing about that?
He goes, don't forget about the other two vehicles that are coming with us as escorts.
Sobislaw relay that. What other two vehicles?
Ah, you didn't see them two.
Oh, what other two vehicles?
Out of character, can you remind us what they were?
A Bradley APC and an M60 tank.
Can I be honest about it?
He goes, they aren't going to fire on them, so
An
they got stricter.
M60 MBT as well as a Bradley, was it?
Yeah, Bradley.
A Bradley APC.
You
They're
don't
here
even
to
need to make a
escort
roll. Yeah, there is visible shock and alarm on their faces when you say that. And
Tell them they're just tell them.
They're only meant for They're mostly meant for escort to try and help relieve the unit.
What fools do you take us for?
Hey, guys, I think I gotta head out. Shit. I'm kind of having to juggle a lot of things. I'm sorry, but...
Okay, alright, well, okay, alright. Do you need to leave immediately or just in a couple of minutes and we can
In a
wrap stuff
couple of
up?
minutes, but
Okay.
also, I'm also extremely stumped. That's the thing. I don't want to do anything stupid, but I'm so fucking stumped.
Yeah.
I mean, this could be good cliffhanger material.
Indeed.
Yeah, that would be good cliffhanger material.
The difficulty is, as you all know out of character, because present privy discussions, that the whole leave the necklace in the post box is a warning to the town that they were about to be attacked. So now they're ready for an attack and have set up defenses on their flanks and have clearly gotten help. And you're trying to get a tank in their rear. Like, yeah, we're just going to let a tank drive past our defenses when we've been forewarned that we're about to be attacked.
Basically, you have to. We're actually going to be. We're actually trying to get around the village.
Yeah,
explain that.
Yeah, there'll be
We're trying not to even get into the village, but we're trying to get around it. We're not going through. We're not going near. We're just going around.
Give me a persuasion roll.
Oh boy. Please, dice gods, help me!
That's a success. It's tricky, but that's a success. So there's you say these things, and there's looks of very, very, very serious doubt, and they eventually say, "Give us some time." Again, somebody runs off.
Okay.
Comes back a few minutes later. Not quite sure what he's doing when he runs off to the woods and comes back, but he says, "Stay here. My commander does not believe you, but the priest does.
What?
I believe there is a way we can resolve this."
Yes. I believe the necklace that Gabrielle left in the mailbox was a stupid idea of him telling you is that there is going to be attack when there was not.
That is exactly what someone who is trying to sneak weapons past us to attack us from the back would say. But East believes you, and you did come out here under a flag of truce with a lot of guns pointing at you. You are not acting like someone who would wish to attack us, unless we would be foolish to allow you to just come. However, I have been told East will be coming out here with a few men. Apparently, if you allow us to deactivate temporarily the weapons of your vehicles, you will be allowed to pass around the perimeter. Then when you are safely past, your weapons will be returned to functionality.
That could be a very good compromise.
It can be a good compromise.
Well, we'll accept. We accept.
Good. Good.
Just so it can be a good compromise so they don't think we're hostile.
At a character, the event, after a few minutes, and I am aware that Nostra needs to go, so I'm getting it to a point. But you'll see 10 people, no, more than that, 20 people, leave the village, heading in your general direction. After a while, one of them falls over and is then picked up by two other figures and taken back into the village. So only 17 of them reach you.
Oh.
When those 17 reach you, they appear unconcerned. Conspicuously, the priest who said he was coming is not there. And they've got various pieces of kit with them. So, in Polish. We're here to stop up your weapons.
Right. Go ahead.
Do any of you ask about the priest, or do you just let them go about their work?
Where's the priest?
He is indisposed. You can make a. I'm just looking at the. You can make a recon or persuasion roll, your choice. Okay, that's and the Commodore can do it too.
I'm going to make a recon.
Okay, they're not outright lying, but there's something they're not telling you.
He says over to you, there's something they're not telling us.
Is the priest well, by any chance?
They sort of look to one another a little bit, as if working out what to say. And then one of them will say, he is a little under the weather. He is feeling very tired. Wanted to be here, but he couldn't.
And I roll a recon to see
Yes,
if they're...
you can. Yeah, they're telling the truth, but you get the feeling they're like downplaying it, so they're minimizing. They're not lying, but they're minimizing.
What is the priest sick with?
He is sick with... And there's kind of like a sigh in a case of, the game's up. He is sick with what most of us will eventually be sick with, I fear. It's done very well to last this long. It is the radiation.
How did he get the radiation?
He has been living in this area for his entire life, including since the bombs fell, and he has been helping the people around this area for as long as he can. This includes going out. Crespis was badly damaged and almost entirely abandoned. Most of the people who live there now are relatively fresh arrivals. Early on, the water was not clean, the food was not safe, and he is not a survivalist, he is a priest. He had to scavenge what he could from anywhere and everywhere, whilst he was attempting to help others, and he absorbed a little too much contamination. It has been eating away at him slowly. Time may be coming soon when it overwhelms him. Did you
Yeah.
look at us as we were coming?
Yeah, I saw somebody fall over.
And that was the priest.
He goes, he looks at Draco and goes, is there a way to slow down the effects? Or not? Of the radiation effect.
Depending on how advanced the effects of the radiation has been since initial exposure, I would
It's
have
been
to
years.
see.
So you say he's been slowly taking in some of the
Radiation.
radiation.
We don't know where it came from, but he must have been. Must have been from what he ate or what he drank. There's not enough contaminants in the air around here. And the rest of the population is largely fine. Probably from the early days. It's just taken its time.
Was he ever at show what name of that city? Yeah, he asked. Was he ever there?
I have not spoken to him, but talking to others, I believe he was. He has visited all of the towns and villages in this region.
Or did he ever loot around there? Like the village?
I
They
do
ever
not know
went
the
into
answers
any
to that question.
complex? So
I do not know. I just know that he has visited the towns and villages around here. I don't know. I've only been here, and then he kind of like shuts up because he realized he was about to say something he probably shouldn't say.
Because I know
I know that there is a complex that is contaminated with a chemical agent that
What complex is that?
it's in Chestershire.
What is in Shower?
we saw some vehicles along the road at the Cestershire. Looked like there was bodies had some chemical agent on it. We didn't go and investigate, but yeah.
And about this complex you speak of, looking very much at the lieutenant.
One of the areas there was a dangerous chemical agent that almost claimed the life of my associate here.
That's why I'm
You went into a complex in Shower?
Yes.
There's like looking left and right. And by the way, how much of this, if any of it, are you translating for the Commodore, and are you translating the Commodore's words, or are you just having a one-on-one conversation now?
Brain just farted again. Fuck.
Yeah, you just told him we've been in Chestershire.
Yeah, I'm sorry. My brain is dead. I am really sorry. And I still kind of need to go now.
Okay.
I've held
All
off
right.
long enough. I think because
Absolutely
of that,
fine.
my brain just completely shut down and just went on
Yeah, I was gonna
autopilot. And
I was gonna
just...
wrap up on the half hour when you said that you go in a few minutes, so that's only 5 minutes from now. So yeah, I'll head into the wrap up. Say, I see. Perhaps it would. Well, we will escort you around, but perhaps it would be best who came into the village. Do you wish to enter the village to talk to the priest?
May we see the symptoms of the priest and what he's having?
If
Of course, of course.
we did find some form of counter to whatever was potentially killing those people in Crescent Shower.
Of
Um,
course, of course.
If it's the same chemical agent, we could potentially deactivate whatever's affecting the priest.
Yes.
Of course. We will disable the weapons of your vehicles, and then you will all come into the village, and you can inspect the priest. We have taken him back there. I understand that you have a good doctor. According to him, he was quite fond of her.
Yes, we do.
She'll be able to slow down the effects of it.
Very good. That's encouraging to hear. Please tell your operators to stand down, and
Yes,
they'll go about. Hang on.
He goes back.
And yeah, they'll go about moving one or two small but vital components from the various vehicle weapons, which are easily returnable, can easily be put back in, but until they're put back in, weapons are non-functional.
Alright.
He goes, you'll be driving the...
Alright, well, I will.
Excellent. Well, and it's on that moment as you are being escorted slowly back into the village, see the wounded or sick priest, that we shall draw a close to this session. But you are aware of lots of excited murmuring between the various Polish troops as you are led into the village of Kespis.
So, does somebody overhear anything?
Oh yeah, you can make a recon roll. I'm aware that Ostro's already gone, so I'll just do Ostro. But anybody who's there can make a recon roll.
Yep.
Recon.
I did it. Oh, I was also going back. Okay, all right. Oh, and it's best that it's Soboslaw because Soboslaw can speak Polish. There's excited murmuring, and one of the things that you hear is somebody saying in Polish, radio back the Silesian Defense Force. Tells them they may want to send some scouts to Sestachava.
Damn it! You opened your mouth! Oh, seriously? Yeah.
Alright.
Because you opened your mouth. Yeah.
I told you my brain stopped working. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna end the stream on that note.
Yeah.
I'm